numbers you can learn right there. Here's what it looks like over here. And you see they say from 46 to 63 is plasma. The formed elements are from 37 to 54. Trust me, just go with my numbers and you'll be okay. So plasma is about 55%. Formed elements are 45%. Okay? There are three types of formed elements that we mentioned over here. Red cells are called erythrocytes. They only do one thing for you, and that is carry oxygen. They only contain one thing in them, and that is hemoglobin. And hemoglobin only has one function, and that is to carry oxygen. It actually functions to carry carbon dioxide back to your lungs, but let's just think about it as simpler than that, and it just carries oxygen. The white blood cells are also called leukocytes. Leuko means white. White cells are all part of the immune system. They fight infections, they fight parasites, they fight viruses, they fight bacteria, they fight allergic reactions. They do all of that stuff. And there are a number of kinds of leukocytes. I think there's maybe 7 different types that you'll need to know about. The platelets are these little cell fragments that are involved in clotting. We'll talk about them. They're very important to us as well, because without platelets, a little cut bleeds forever. Okay? Hemopoiesis is a word you should understand. It basically is the fancy A&P word that means the making of blood. So hemopoiesis is making blood. We have 2 major parts of blood when it comes to hemopoiesis. One is the myeloid poiesis, which is making a lot of the white cells. The lymphoid, a lot of our white cells are lymphocytes, and that's another major part of it. Fractionation is what I just did over here. That's how we separate whole blood for clinical analysis into the plasma and the formed elements. By the way, when you donate a unit of blood at the blood bank, they're going to take the whole unit of blood out of you, but 99% of all the blood transfusions that are given in America are not given as whole blood. They only give the patient the bottom part, because usually that's all you need. So they'll fractionate the blood even further. The Red Cross does. They give plasma to one patient who just needs plasma. They give the red cells to any patient that needs blood, usually if they've lost blood or if they're having surgery or so forth. They're the ones that are going to need this bottom part, which is called packed cells. And then other patients will just get your white cells, and other patients will just get your platelets, because they can separate out the platelets. So some patient who has a platelet disorder and doesn't have enough platelets, and he's bleeding from his teeth and his gums and everywhere, is going to just get platelets.
How long does blood keep?
Blood keeps for 3 weeks. Platelets keep for about a day and a half. So everything's different, but blood is 3 weeks.
So if they don't separate it out, will it only be a day and a half then until that goes bad because there's platelets in it?
Honestly, we almost never even keep it on. They spin it down right away and separate it for everybody. Then if somebody really needed whole blood, they take some plasma, add it back to the cells and give it as whole blood.
Do they end up wasting a lot of the blood?
No, blood is not wasted very often. It is sometimes, but the way you get around it is you rotate the blood. So like out in the Dalles, you know, we would keep like 20 units on hand. Most of the blood we kept was O negative, which could be given to anybody. And if we needed more or we needed a specific type, the Red Cross and the state troopers would drive us up, you know, a box of blood in a refrigerated box. And so very seldom. And then if our blood started getting old, we would send it back down here to Portland and somebody would use it the next day, that sort of thing, because it's a very valuable resource. You don't want to ever lose it, but you still do once in a while. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to that. Basically, blood is a little warmer than your body, So the normal temperature of blood itself is about 38. We're just going to still use 98.6 as our normal temperature. Remember that blood is thick. It is thicker than water. You've heard that term before. Blood is thicker than water, and it is. It's viscous. It's slightly alkaline. Once again, it's the normal body pH, 7.35 to 7.45. And about 7% of our body is blood. So for an adult male like me, I probably have 5 to 6 liters of blood, 5 to 6 quarts of blood, which means I have 10 to 12 pints of blood. When we give blood, we give it by the pint. Okay? So a unit of blood is about a pint, which is about half a liter. Okay?
How much do you need to maintain before you die? Okay.
Well, when you lose 20% of your blood volume, you're probably going into shock if you lose it very quickly. Now you can lose more than that if you lose it really slowly, but you need at least 80% of your blood with you. Okay, I'm going to stop there so we don't get into trouble with the chemistry professor. Well, you thought I got in trouble with her. You should have seen the